Hey Pennyworth farmers, here we are with our piggies ready to go. And they're off. Come on mate, let's go. Woo, 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 woo.
I admit watching piglet races isn't a normal activity in an EAP lesson. I showed this video when teaching the problems of measurement accuracy to Chinese first-year science undergraduates who use their mobile phones to time the winning porker. My reason was that students would understand the origin of measurement errors better by doing measurements themselves. Discussion in class came up with the suggestions that individual reaction times and uncertainty when the race began and ended added to inaccuracy. The students entered their times into a shared spreadsheet, which, I'm glad to say, for a couple of classes at least, did show the effect of multiple measurement in error reduction, an idea that most included in a later assessed assignment. Now, you may feel such an activity could only be useful for a very small minority of foundation or ESAP teachers, if any at all, but that would be missing the point. I present this video to introduce a change in emphasis I feel is needed in teaching EAP and specifically in teaching Chinese students. Many students defer to the authority of the written word, which largely means the internet. The internet supports those lacking understanding, it reassures those without self-confidence, and is a quick fix for the lazy. AI, such as ChatGPT, is the latest way of acquiring second-hand information but not requiring much student involvement or understanding. So if the internet's the problem, why not bypass the internet altogether? Not that its reliability concerns me. I would imagine that most of the information obtained by most students is perfectly okay, and for many in sufficient depth. My concern with such off-the-peg answers is that they do not encourage a questioning curiosity, the noticing of patterns and interconnections, nor the development of the student's own independent voices. That's why I want to see more subject-specific information and questions given in non-text form, such as tables of data, diagrams, maps and pictures in both lessons and assessments. IELTS Part 1 writing exercises, if you will. Lesson has taken steps in this direction by setting assignments in which students describe a nuclear power station using a labelled diagram and the origin of experimental error from a picture of an experiment, as well as helping teach English language development. Such activities rely on the student's own understanding, not cribbing off the web. But a lot more to be done. I would like to see such exercises more in day-to-day teaching and assessment. For example, during a class I did on the pros and cons of nuclear power, I gave these students a table comparing the building, running and decommission costs of different energy sources. I asked students which they thought would be the most significant figure to quote in assessing the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear power. Such an approach isn't confined to science and business majors. Challenge students to make their own observation and construct their own ideas can be done in all subjects, including EGAP strands. For example, in a pre-sessional at the Royal College of Art, I showed the work of Dorothea Tanning, a long-lived American painter and sculptor, with the aim of matching these pictures to short by the artist on her changing influences in each of her 6 decades of creativity. I hope you would agree that all this sounds very good and useful, except it often doesn't work. Students seem to be perplexed by this approach. Many did not identify what I thought stood out as the most significant figure in this table of data, rather choosing figures almost at random and without justification. The decrease of margin of error with increased measurement, which I was so pleased with, may have much more to do with student collusion than more accurate measurement. It has many causes. The way I present such work, the perhaps impossible task of altering intrinsic cultural approaches, or that students would rather rely on the confidence of the internet and avoid the intellectual effort of coming up with their own subject-specific ideas and expressing them in their own English. These are not reasons to stop trying. What I'm proposing here is nothing radical, simply a change of emphasis, using more non-text information. Yet it will be challenging, as such an approach won't come naturally or easily to many students and will require active teaching. But its biggest plus is students must rely on themselves rather than on the internet. It will encourage critical thinking, not only in which data to select, but also in interpretation, which could lead to more focused, questioning use of the internet. Using information in not textual ways could be used to reinforce ideas from texts and allow for concept-checking questions. It also supports the very skills that many subject lecturers would like their students to acquire. Lastly, it also helps student development, not only of their academic English skills, but also an independent approach to their future studies. It's a collective effort. That's why I decided to make this video. Thank you.